Hey indie game fans, I had a very tough time narrowing down this list since there were quite a number of pretty cool but not so popular indie games in November 2018. I do like the art styles of a couple that I have picked, but as always, to start us off, here are some quick picks worth checking out. Robo Puzzle Smash is a competitive arcade puzzle game which certainly bears similarities to Super Puzzle Fighter, only this time with voxels and a catchy Japanese-style soundtrack. Fluffy Horde is a side-scrolling mix of RTS and tower defense with some pretty nice pixel art and a ton of rabbits on screen. With over 100 cities to free and 400 badges to conquer, this certainly has some legs. Woodpunk is a top-down roguelite with a clever theme, since it plays on steampunk, but instead of steam, wood is used to power everything. There's research of new parts for weapon crafting, procedural generation of levels, and permadeath, so it checks all the boxes of one of these. DERU: The Art of Cooperation is a co-op puzzle game where you play as black and white shapes and have to work together in order to proceed. I always love co-op games, and this will be a good addition to your library. And finally, DISTRAINT 2 is the sequel to the very well-received DISTRAINT and is a psychological horror game that deals with guilt, trauma, sorrow, and the past, and has a very distinct art style which I do like. However, horror games are not usually my jam, so if you have tried this, let me know in the comments below. Moving on, here are the top 5 indie games you might have missed in November 2018. NAIRI Tower of Shirin is a graphical adventure with some very impressive art. Essentially a visual novel with some light puzzle elements, the cast of characters looks awesome, from cats, bears, rats, ducks, and more, but this is simply a treat for the eyes.
Hello there, citizen. Let me tell you something about the privilege of enlisting into the glorious army of Loria. Are you ready to see the world?
Loria is an old-school RTS that wears its inspiration on its sleeve, that being Warcraft 2, all the way down to the duality of the factions and its visual style. However, there's some more modern tweaks such as hero units, but the core RTS is pretty nostalgic and is worth checking out. However, the main complaint that I have seen is that there is no online multiplayer, which is an unfortunate reality of a small indie game, but if you do love RTSs, do support this game and maybe we can rekindle interest in the genre.
Hear me, demon spawn, for I bring you the grand wisdom of chaos. Are you annoyed by the human vermin running around feeling entitled to live? Are you fed up with those naive order pawns defending their lands? We, the Agents of Chaos, have a solution to this madness. Serve us in our unholy crusade and bring meaning into your forsaken life. Join us, or serve us in chaos conquers all.
Of Gods and Men, the Daybreak Empire is a turn-based tactics game akin to Fire Emblem, sharing many of the same features, but it does have some aspects which are pretty cool. We have your weapon triangle equivalent of Archer beats Infantry beats Cavalry beats Archers, but with 12 factions, each with their own special unit, and an overworld campaign map that sees you taking over enemy territory and upgrading your own. One certainly can't say that there's a lack of content here. The vertical shoot 'em up is a genre which I enjoy since I just like blasting enemies, getting power-ups and defeating the boss, but rival Megagun shakes things up by adding in a PvP aspect since you are periodically able to transform into the Megagun ship and directly attack your opponent. Love the level of detail with pixel art, but kudos to the developers for an innovative idea in this space. Another month, another golf game topping the list, and man, perhaps I should reconsider my apparent dislike of golf. I like puzzle games in general, even more so if there's a sense of zen from it, which describes golf peaks to a T. You are dealt a hand of cards that allows you to move the golf ball a certain number of spaces, but you then have to contend with terrain such as mud, slopes, water, and so on, and this is all wrapped up in such a pleasant and calming art style. Emanating chill vibes, this thus takes the #1 spot of the month. For more indie games you might have missed, check out last month's video or watch my recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.